Hi, it's Pat Patterson, and I'm so excited to be here in Claremont at the Folk Music Center, and I'm here with Dr. Angela Williamson. And Angela, tell me what you have done. This is incredible.
Oh, Pat, I'm so excited. This book has been out since 2020. And now I know, everybody the book. Now I'm able to finally do in person book signings. And it just makes sense for me to do it. We're in Claremont, but we're at the Folk Music Center. And it makes so much sense for me to do my very first book signing here because, I mean, the folk music was so important in the civil rights movement.
In Claremont, and this is the Berkeley campus of the Inland Empire.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So tell me about Rosa Parks and your experience as her cousin.
I met her in 1998 when I met my husband. So I married into the family of Rosa Parks. But what was really interesting was not only did I meet my hero, but then I started hearing all of these stories and coming from the Williamson side of the family, and I realized I never learned these stories in high school or even in college because we have to take history in college too, and it's supposed to be more in depth. I didn't learn those stories. And so after a while, I mean, yes, it took me a while to realize I need to start to tell this story. And it started with me actually doing a documentary about Rosa Parks and the Williamson family. And what I did was because you know that I teach as well. And one of the things I did was I asked my students, I said, you know what, you want extra credit? Watch this documentary on Amazon and leave a review.
And I got to ask you,
Yeah.
because even the two people that might not know in our audience, remind us who Rosa Parks is.
Yeah, Rosa Parks is considered the mother of the civil rights movement. She refused to give up her seat on December 1st, 1955. And when she did that, it started the movement to end segregation in the South. So she is credited for that one act, but she did so much for the NAACP up until that point. So, yes.
And what was your impression when you got to meet her and know her better?
Yeah, I was in awe. I met her, she was well into late 70s, 80s at the point that I met her. But even just the persona of Rosa Parks, I was just in awe of her and just how humble she was. Because here's a person that changed the face of history, and she was still so humble. But then, because you put Rosa Parks on a pedestal, and she definitely should be on a pedestal, but then to see her with her family and realize that she's just a cousin and she has fun too.
Well, she's not only on a pedestal. There's a Mattel Barbie edition doll. Tell me a little bit about this real quick.
Well, this is so interesting. This Mattel Barbie doll came out.
And first of all,
Yeah.
what an amazing thing Mattel has done to do something as mainstream as this.
And this is absolutely the most beautiful doll I've seen. And I could be biased. But when this doll came out, it came out in the summer of 2019. And at that point, I had been on the documentary film circuit for a long time. And you know how that is when you're doing independent. But I did not have the children's book yet. And some of those students had said, you know, I want to learn more about the relationship between Rosa Parks and Carolyn Williamson Green. And I kept that in the back of my mind. I showed just a portion of the documentary to second graders. They well received it. I had the cutest photos from them, or pictures, the drawings that they did. But when this Barbie doll came out and I saw the description of it, I realized that I had a bigger responsibility. I needed to tell a different story. And this doll really pushed me forward to start writing this children's book because I literally that fall in 2019 started writing this children's book.
And I know we have a long way to go in terms of race relations in America, but did you find some of the kids almost couldn't believe that happened back in the day, or what was their experience with understanding that kind of you can't sit in a certain place on a bus and the segregation that was going on?
Okay. I know this because I'm an educator, but still I was blown away when this book was released in 2020 because we were literally still on lockdown and so many children around the country they were reading this book and they were saying, I mean, just as simple as saying, at the end of the book, it tells you to find someone that is different from you and make a friend. And this one lady told me that she read this book with her son, because I sent it out to a few people before, and he said, you know, next time I'm on the playground, I'm going to make sure they don't bully that one kid that's on the playground. I mean, this is important because they realize that these are this
The
not,
other can be anything.
it can be anything.
Have to be race.
It doesn't have to be race, and it's not acceptable to treat others differently. And that is the message that Rosa Parks was giving, like a young Carolyn, and she mentored a lot of young people. She was doing that. She was saying that we need to respect the human race, and the only way to do that is to stick up for people when things are done to them that are wrong.
Yeah. And that kind of courage can take place anytime, any place, any day. Real quickly, what else are you up to? Tell me. I know you've got a talk show. Tell me about that.
Yes, and I have some wonderful guests on that talk show as well. So I do have that talk show on KLCS, Everybody with Angela Williamson. I just released a new documentary, Authentic Conversations, Deep Talk with the Masters. I think we need to have more authentic conversations, and that one is with Jack Canfield from Chicken Soup for the Soul. So that's wonderful too, because even though we are getting through the pandemic, they're saying that where we are with mental wellness, we are not where we were before 2019. And so to hear from a person like Jack Canfield is important right now. And then this book signing, I mean, I've been feeling it's been in the back of my pocket for 2 years, and I'm like, now I get to actually go out in the public and share the story.
As we're sitting here, the seats are filling here at the folk music center.
Former student.
Oh, I love it. How great. So Pat Pattison here with Dr. Angela Williamson. We're going to give you her information where you can get the book. We're also here at the Folk Music Center, which is one of my favorite places here in Claremont. Talk to you soon.